You guys got some sleep. What? What is that? All right, well, let's get rocking. First things I thought that I would get into was I told you about a month ago that naming our starter at QB wasn't a secret, and it was a process. And when that process was time, I'd know, he'd know, and I'd let you know. And as much as we knew Jayden would get there, Adam and I were most excited about watching how he would. And the how has been absolutely outstanding. He went through the whole thing. He didn't miss a beat, hit the targets that we had put in front of him. We talked about the practices against the other teams, the games, so he's ready and he's earned the right to do that. He's really put in the work while being surrounded by some excellent teammates here, and in that case, I wanted to make sure I singled one of them out. In a perfect scenario, a young QB would have a leader to also learn from, but perfect rarely happens. But we do have that in Marcus Mariota, and him sharing 9 years of gold with Jayden, I think, has been something that's really cool for us to see. Rookie QBs usually don't get that, and we do. And when QB rooms are special, that energy can be felt throughout an entire team, and we have that. So really cool to see. So apologies for having you come up with new storyline for today, but Jayden Daniels is our starting quarterback. Drop the mic, Chick.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, of course you didn't. Yeah. You're pressuring me so much over the last few weeks, I felt it was time to promptly tell you I'd know, you'd know, he'd know.
If we can go back to the kicking situation, no, I'm just kidding.
What a buzzkill that John is, huh?
With Jayden, you talk about the check marks along the way. What did you learn maybe even in the last week that just kind of said, okay, he's for sure ready, let's go?
I think the practice before we left to go down to Miami was the best one I had seen from him on the Tuesday prior to us leaving that Wednesday. The command of it, the accuracy, the details of it, that was one of the best practices I'd seen him have, was the best practice I'd seen him have. And so I think that was more in line with, who he is, what he does, the checks, the calls, the communication, the delivery of the ball. He was just really on point. So it was just cool to see all of that, come to life.
Has anything about this surprised you about where he's at in his development?
It didn't surprise me. We knew we would get here, but we were just excited to see how we would. And so seeing him hit all the spots, this is a rare competitor. And those are the things that I knew about him, but seeing it in your own building, on your own team, around new teammates, that was cool to see. And so he's just, had a remarkable start to things here. He's earned the respect of teammates and coaches and people inside of the building. And he's very, thankful to be part of a, group that, with the quarterback and the coaches and, helping him get ready. That's a big deal too.
As you watch the process unfold, was there a part of you going into all this, even before you drafted Jayden, like, here's my potential hiccup for starting a rookie or for having a rookie off the bat? I'm curious, what was that? And then how did Jayden address that and make you feel, yeah, we're good here?
Yeah, I think first thing you want to do is make sure that you had some things in place, before the player arrived. And so we did some things offensive line-wise on the interior to make sure of that. Obviously like adding a tight end like Zach, having a run game, that you would add to it. All of those things, were part of the design prior to even Jayden being here. But the added element that he's brought, the confidence, the swagger that he plays with, the details that he has, all of those things are what you'd hope to see, and that's why I just thought it was best to go through the process and get through all of the steps and then, do that. But without having to do that, our whole program is going to be based on competition, and so I felt best to go through the whole competition before, making any big statements.
And in this last game, he's out there for 2 series. You guys are currently playing up tempo, different receiver groups. What were for you guys the main goals to get him comfortable for what's to come? What was the main goal for how you chose to show your offense in that game?
Well, I think it was going to be a different system. So we had, it's pretty awesome. We got a new field out here. You can probably hear the lawnmower going, man. That's a big deal. But going back into the game, Ben, different system, so you'd see more pressures, getting in and out of calls. You probably saw some quick game and throw some of the bubbles to go. So when to get in and out of plays, that would be where the test would take place on this particular game. And getting in and out of plays based on different looks, that was part of it for sure.
Is Jayden on the mower too as well?
No.
Okay. For you, we all kind of know what was going to take place. You knew it was going to take place. You just had to see it. In telling a young guy that he is the starter, even though it's going to happen, what is that like for you, and can you share his reaction?
You know, it's cool because I also, wanted him to know, like, years from now, 10 years from now, we're going to say, to a young player, you have to go earn it and you have to go compete for it. And we did that, Jayden, in his first year. And so that's always going to be what we stand for, in terms of the competition and going for it and battling for it. And so I wanted that to be the standard. And he said that's what it always is, and competing, and that's just who he is at the core. So that's kind of, what we talked about, and said it would have been something we could have done, but the competing is still, that's the number one thing here. And to make sure that always is the case, we'll be able to look back and years and years from now and say, this is how we did it, from day one as well.
Hey, Coach, obviously being a starting quarterback, you have to be a leader in the locker room, leader in the huddle. What are some examples that have you seen over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, that he's won over this locker room?
Well, I think he has that, but even before going that, he doesn't have to be the leader of the team. He has to play his position well and be a great teammate. And on this team, and I had told the group earlier, my favorite part of this team and the best part of our team is the team. And so it's not that one person has to, put them on your back and say the things to bring everybody up in the huddle. What Jayden's got across is I've put the work in and people trust me, because they do. They've seen how hard he worked. They've seen him go deliver on that hard work at practice and through the preseason game. So as a young player, you're really trying to earn respect and to show that, like, I'll do things that you can count on. And that, to me, is what he's demonstrated to his teammates over and over again is, man, you can count on me. I'll make the right call, put us in the right play, make the right decisions. Past that, he's got his own connection with the guys. And even in his own rookie class, there's some other leaders that are emerging, guys like Saint Still and others that have some of those same traits. So top of the pile, man, like, be a great teammate, play your spot well. There's other guys here that are ready to carry more of that. It'll come in time, but I didn't want to add extra onto him when we selected him. I just wanted him to be the best version of him right away, but he didn't have to take on more than was required.
Less than a month away from week one, from the
Yep.
real thing. So from now until then, what do you want to see from Jayden now that he's the starter? What exactly do you work with him on leading up to week one?
We have 2 more installs on both sides of the ball that'll be going in this week, Wednesday and Thursday. So that'll be the last of our, package of the playbook that we're putting in. And then as we get through the weekend and into next week, we'll narrow down, some of that playbook. Think of like volumes and volumes of plays. And then now how do we trim down the things, which people are the best parts for each of the plays, and how do we feature guys? In other words, which personnel packages can we feature? And so going back through those into next week, that would be what we'll see. But that's a byproduct of going through all the camp, what went well, what needs work, what's game ready, what's not game ready. And even if it's not game ready yet, doesn't mean we wouldn't use it. We wouldn't use it in the first game, but sometimes it just takes a little while for a system or a play to get there. And when it does, then you can do it. But if you do it before that, usually it doesn't work out good. You don't have all the answers. It's not as comfortable. So we'll make sure between he and the other guys on the offense over the next, practices this week and into next week, that's at the top of our things that we do best.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Go back to the game. The third down play, the first third down play where the rush comes in and Jayden kind of throws the ball, try to give Terry a chance, and it goes out of bounds. When you look at the play, obviously you guys have, but the left side of that is kind of open. So if you can anticipate that rush fast enough, you can kind of get out there, maybe get on the edge. When you have a quarterback that's already so aggressive, and obviously you're having the conversations about protecting yourself, you can turn on the tape and you see something like that. Where do you kind of balance saying, like, hey, dude, that's where I want you to take that chance and get out there and try to run? And where do you kind of, I don't know if hold back is the right word, but how do you kind of?
You're talking about like on the deep shot to Terry?
Right.
Yeah. So, great two-part question. The first one, where should I go, against this blitz? And so to the side of the blitz, we had a swing by the back, and that probably was the one to take into that instance to go give the runner a chance on a play right there. And so that's different than running and scrambling and getting out. So good news about playing against Miami, I was, super impressed by the pressures, different looks to go. So we had, some real look at things. But where to go, the decision-making process, that would be the first part. And then the second part is, outside the pocket, when do I have enough, and then make the decision whether I'm sliding, get out of bounds, those ones to go. So he heard it plenty from me today regarding one of the plays, that was down the field. And so we had some fun with that.
And then the big run by Jeff Driscoll down the field. John Bates is in his route. Jeff gets out of the pocket, and John runs downfield with the defender and kind of gets in the way so that Jeff can use him as a screener to get 10 more yards. How key is that for a player to be doing that downfield?
That is probably where a lot of the explosive plays live, and it's the downfield blocking. And it could be a run play that goes out the backside, and the backside wide receiver's trying to go get to the middle field safety. So the example of that is really using the urgency, not coming back towards the line of scrimmage, but working downfield to the next blocker, something that we work a lot on. And, John getting another block into that one was good. And it was good to see Jeff get out, make some plays with his legs. That's always been part of his game, and showed up again Saturday night.
Hey there, Coach. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, rookie Javonte Jean-Baptiste had his first sack on Saturday evening. So, what can you share about what you've seen so far from him this summer?
Yeah, I thought it was probably the best version of him, Candy, so far. And I saw him be relentless on that particular sack. The first play started, the quarterback then drifted outside the pocket to begin to scramble, and Javonte had to go and chase him and finish. And I think as a defensive lineman, so many of the plays are made in that way. You don't just, beat the offensive tackle once and you get the clean sack. That happens some, but there's plenty that a stunt happens or a blitz happens and the quarterback gets outside the pocket and you go finish on them. And so that's something you've heard me say a lot, the ability and the demonstration of going to finish. And so to see him do that on that play, I thought that was really cool. And so there were a couple of moments like that. I hope you guys saw the excitement and enthusiasm on the sideline, for some of the guys making plays. And I thought, what a great example and demonstration of brotherhood by some of these guys. I pointed out one earlier that Tyler Owens had made a big play on the sideline, and John Allen was the one running down the field to try to connect with him as he came off the field. So moments like that of guys supporting one another is what you'd hope to see, as a coach, and to see that happening on the field, I was really pleased for that.
Will Jayden play in the final preseason game?
We can probably hit more on that like towards the end of the week on Friday. So we're going to do 2 practices against ourselves, Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll begin the New England prep onto that as we go. But I thought today, Nikki, enough. I just gave you the starting quarterback guy.
I appreciate
that's
that you're
taken with both hands
us.
right now. Jeez. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, we'll talk through all the team next week, and I'll have a better answer for you guys on Friday.
And since you said this was not really a secret, but how did you tell him? How did you bring him in and tell him this?
I went to the quarterback room and just spent some time, and we had talked first about the process going from Jet Week into Miami Week, even as much as like warming up and what did that look like. So I'd asked him to make some changes or assess what he liked and what needed to do. And I said that's what preseason games are for, to find out whether we're playing 1 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 4 o'clock. This happens 2 hours before the game. This is 1:45, and so we went through that process together. And then I just said, man, I'm naming you the starter today. And the name of our whole program will be about competition. And you've absolutely crushed it and earned it. And so it's time to do that. And so I wanted just to let him know that that's always what we're going to stand for. And so it was a cool moment, but one that he had absolutely earned.
When did you first emphasize to Jayden, hey, you don't need to necessarily take on more of a leadership role than your fair share, and why was that important to you?
I think sometimes you can cast upon that just by the position, that comes with it. The quarterback, I have to lead the team and do that. I think the first thing you have to do is, especially as a younger player here, is demonstrate you can be absolutely counted upon. And so I said that to him probably when he first arrived, to say, you don't have to put the cape on and carry the team, and all I want you to focus on is playing quarterback to the very best of your ability and be the most absolute best teammate you can be. That's not your job to have to go rip Terry McLaurin about something. I'll handle that. You can just lock in and go do your thing. I said, those things come with time, man, and the leading in that way. What you need to do is be able to absolutely deliver on your end. And Jayden Daniels is an absolutely fantastic teammate because he cares, he puts the work in, he gives support to others. So there didn't need to be that, and I think sometimes, and certainly NFL players, but a lot of people can see through bullshit. And so when someone's acting some kind of way, but that's not really who they are, nah, man, that ain't you. And so I wanted him and his teammates to get to know him in a really cool and authentic way, and that is who he is. He's a competitor, he's a great teammate, he's on his stuff. So that's what I wanted his team to see, nothing where he had to take on a leadership mantle that he didn't need to yet. That'll come.
How do you keep his head there now that he is QB1, or do you even feel like you need to manage that now that it's official?
No, I don't feel that way at all. He's just put in, his whole life he's been about competing, and so there's nothing that would back him off of that.
With what you said about players knowing where the BS is and where it isn't, he's been so impressive throughout what we've seen on the field, but have there been teachable moments? Have there been rookie moments where you
yeah, of course.
What were some of those, and what were those conversations like?
Yeah, I could say, there's lots of them. In the practice at the Dolphins, we didn't put a motion on. We ran right into a blitz because we didn't motion a player. So, of course there's mistakes that any player has. He is usually, and this is a good sign, if there's one to have, before he turns around, he may have, already know what the correction may have been. And I think people improve the most when they have self-awareness. If you're always having to be the one correcting something or someone on something with no awareness for that, you'll likely have to correct that a lot. But when somebody comes to you and say, yes, I missed that, this is why, that's usually the person who has the most self-awareness. They improve the most, they develop the fastest because they're able to fix some of the things that go wrong. Sometimes you got to figure it out. And so can't rely on the coach every single moment to say, end this, end this, end this. And Jayden has that, at the highest level.
Have you been able to announce the news to the team yet? What was the team's reaction?
I have not.
What are you expecting?
I would think they would have probably figured it out before you guys did.
Can we, non-Jayden division, Jordan McGee update, please?
Yes. Let's talk about Jordan. And so Jordan had a procedure on his knee. He had an MCL injury. And the good news is that this is not a season-ending injury, which we were, obviously you're concerned about. You don't know until the procedure takes place. So that is the good news for him. So he will be back this season. And timeline-wise, I don't have one for you. But that was great news for us, knowing that he's going to be a, key component of our linebacking crew.
Hey, Dan, did anything stand out for you watching the game tape back, especially for some of the guys that are trying to make the roster?
Yeah, I thought a number of things stood out. One of the things that was positive, I thought, could we really play physical? And I wanted that then to be one of the things of our play style that would come out over and over again. And so I thought, I felt a lot of that. I felt the contact. We got a long ways to go in terms of how well we tackle. But the mindset to hit and go for it was there. We got a long way to go to take care of the ball better, to create more takeaways. But by and large, as a play style, I wanted to make sure, when people watch us play, they say, man, these guys absolutely bring it. And so that part, if we do that over and over again, those are lessons that you can take. It may have not shown up in the win column, but knowing how hard you have to go and compete and fight for it, those are things that matter, especially to players who haven't played in the NFL yet. And so going through that and saying, okay, this is the ramp up. That's different. And people ask, well, what's so different about, the NFL to college? And oftentimes in practice, you don't really get to know other than just speed. But then there's the physicality element that comes with the game. And so seeing who is really ready for those challenges, it was cool to see a number of guys do that.
Do you have an update for what's
Let me go back over here. I think you were first. Yeah. You have the mic. You want to hit it? Yeah.
With Wiley and Lucas back, what was your review of the offensive line after the game in Miami?
We're improving on less pre-snap penalties, and those are the ones that you want to get rid of. And so earlier that part to go. So it was good to have Wiley back, with him not being, able to participate in the Jet game, and same with Luke. So for those two guys getting their first game work, I thought that was important for them. The inside three felt further ahead because they had, one more opportunity to do it than Andrew and Luke. But I was pleased with them, through the first two drives of what we had. I think Andrew had one foul he'd certainly like to have back on a third down and one play. But going into it, these are why you play, the games and go through it and get yourself ready. So I anticipate those guys continuing to ascend, in the weeks ahead.
And then do you have a plan for Johnny Newton and Brandon Coleman this week? What do you expect?
So far, you're going to see those guys work individual. It would have to be towards the end of the week if they would get any team reps to go. Brandon's a little bit further along than Johnny, but not by tons. But both of them I see on the way up. As far as getting them to the game, I'll have a better sense for that as we get to the end of the week. You'll see Brandon Moore this week really ramping the contact and that kind of stuff up. You'll see more running with Johnny. So those are two guys that are on the arrow up, but I don't have an official game timeline for them yet.
And then you brought up Riley Patterson. Had a good day on
Yes.
Thursday. Been a little bit inconsistent at times.
Yes.
Other times. What's your confidence in him, and do you have plan to bring in other kickers this week?
Yeah, I think that's probably the second one's probably a better question for Adam. It's this time of year. There's evaluations everywhere, and I'm sure you can relate. Roster size being 90 all the way to the final cut is different. Sometimes when it went from 90 to 75, teams that carried more than one specialist, oftentimes that was the moment that some specialists, we're going to go from carrying two to carrying one. So the competition for us at that spot is not settled by any stretch, along with some other positions. But as far as, heading into the game, no decisions on that with anybody else to the roster.
With Coleman, do you need to see him get some preseason action? Do you feel confident enough for him to start?
I think needing and wanting are probably different in that way. Would I want to? You bet. Need to? No. But I do know there's next week's practices and the following week's one. So I think I'll have a better assessment once I go through a few days with him this week and then see if we have a realistic shot for him to play Sunday night or not. He's certainly trending in that way, but we'll take it, we're just going to use all the caution we can with him and Johnny to make sure, there's no setbacks. And that's super important too. As much as the want is there, we'll make the more difficult right over the easier wrong every time when it comes to the player's safety.
With your corners, just that group in general, what's your level of confidence there? How do you feel like they've progressed throughout camp?
Yeah, I'd say outside and inside differently, for who are the nickels. Yep. So just for the outside piece, we've mixed and matched different guys into different spots. I was certainly impressed with Castro Fields in the game. I thought on the deep ball to go, made some plays onto that. I thought Chig really made a difference in the way that he competed and played. So, and then we've really kind of been working the three-part of Ben and Emmanuel and Mike in the different spots. I thought Emmanuel showed his best week from practice down at Miami and into the game. So I thought, I love when I see this on the way up. We're still into the middle of that of what the best combinations look like, but I was definitely pleased to see Emmanuel on the way up. And I thought Ben had showed a lot of consistency through camp, through the preseason game, leading into Miami. So certainly the touchdown pass on 4th and 1, he'd like to have that one back from a technical standpoint, at the line. But I'll get there, and we're still working through who. But I love how they're competing. I love how they're going for it, and I love how they're supporting one another. Which, when you're in a competition with someone, it's not always the easiest thing to do. But with this group, they do, and so that shows me that that's a cool thing because they're in it for one another too.
Last one, Dan on the right.
Dan, the wide receiver competition and also the returners, any more specific clarity for you or anything that stood out in those situations from the game?
Yeah, I was hoping we'd get a few more shots on the punt return, where we didn't into that spot. A couple, we just, you don't get a chance to hit it. So I was wanting to see more there. We'll do some more of that this week, Ben, with Kaz, as one of the people back there. I've got great confidence in Jayden, like I said, where his return ability as a, punt returner has been, it's easy to see that, whether through practice or the experiences on the game. And then Byron Pringle is somebody, that has demonstrated, explosive ability to go hit him. So we still have work to do into that. That'll carry over into this week and into the game. But as far as the returners go, not settled into that spot. So I like the candidates, but to say we're at the final set of that, not yet. Not yet. Yeah, so I know you guys were talking about that. We really do have some unique guys and some guys that are absolutely going for it. So what you were calling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of these players, will go in and have a role into it. It's been cool to see Luke following Olamide some. Preparation and processing and what does practice look like. And so to see Luke make some plays in the game, I was certainly happy with that. In the slot, you saw the one going down the seam. He's back there trying to return punts. Like, he's a relentless competitor, and it's one of the things I really admire about him. He's just always down for it. Yeah, you want me to return kick? I'll be the wing. I was like, no, you can't do them both. It's the same thing on punt return. You don't get to do both of those, So his just relentless ability to go after it, Ben, I think is going to make the player ascend as we're going. Diami and Jahan have, shown, some cool stuff for us. You feel Jahan's speed. I feel Diami get on top of people. So we got a number of people, but I don't necessarily, I'm not going to be boxed in and say, this is one, this is only this is only this. I was referring to, how do we utilize the players? Not everybody will have the same exact role. We got to try to find them and put them into the spaces of things they do well. By and large, what are you looking for at receivers of, contested catches, beating man-to-man? Those are things that you have to be able to do. And then the yards after the catch and the playmaking ability, those are things that you're looking for all the time. At the core, the urgency, the finish, those are the things that I'm looking for on a regular.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. You guys have a good one. See you Wednesday.
How are you, Jayden?
How we doing?
All right. So, Dan, if it makes it official today, what are your thoughts on being named the starter finally?
Just a blessing that DQ and AP trust me to go out there and lead the team, lead the franchise to hopefully win some games. So big ups to them. It's a blessing. Something I dreamt about as a kid, to be at this moment, to experience this moment. It's nothing I can say too much.
Some guys get named in your position right away. What did you think about not being named right away? Did you like kind of the process that it unfolded for you?
Yeah, I mean, everything in life is you got to earn it. Nothing's given. So what DQ and them preach here is competition, and you got to earn your right to stay. You got to earn your right on the field and into position. So be able to go out there and compete, it makes everybody better. So what they preach, and they hold true to that.
Hey, Jayden, from the game the other day, your second start, what was your sort of takeaway from that? What did you kind of feel you were most comfortable with in that game?
Just trying to execute the offense at a high level, stuff that I hit after the game, talking to you guys, just go out there and just trying to execute a little tempo here and there, push the tempo, but go out there and just trusting myself, trusting my eyes.
And you mentioned this is something you wanted since you thought about since you were a kid. You talked before about the sign above your bedroom door. I mean, to think about that it actually is happening. I mean, just how how wild is it to really, still have a long way to go to fulfill all your dreams, I'm sure, but to have gotten to that point?
It's a surreal moment. It's nothing but God. I want to be here in this position without him. So big ups to the man upstairs.
Knowing it's going to happen, and the fact that it does, still, it's when a coach, and he shared with us that in the quarterback room, after asking about the process and pregame and stuff like that, he said, "You're going to be the guy." When you hear those words, immediately what hits you?
Just joy and happiness to be able, like I said, to live out a dream that I dreamt about. But also, man, it's just I couldn't be here without anybody. Like, I couldn't do it on my own. Like, family, support system, the organization here, Mr. Harris and all of them for drafting me, and even the people in the quarterback room. I mean, shout out to Marcus for taking me under his wing and being a great mentor. Jeff Driscoll, man, they looking out for me and helping me out a lot.
And he also talked about the culture of this team. We've seen guys, beat up Tresway after a tackle. We saw you jump up and down at the end of the game when Trace McSorley, of all people, almost led a game-tying drive. What's, for you, that vibe of your teammates is what?
We enjoy being around each other. That's the camaraderie that we're building in the locker room. Be able to go out there and see each other have success and want success for each other. It's big in the locker room. It's a brotherhood that we love each other. We want the best for each other. We're going to push each other.
Jayden, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
Coach
you.
Quinn just said you don't have to put on a cape. You don't have to be necessarily a big leader in that locker room. Has that been a challenging mentality for you to have, and how have you kind of earned the trust of your teammates without necessarily being a leader?
I'll just say I'm a rookie, so I got to come out here and prove it. What I did in college doesn't matter. There's guys that's been in this league that are proven. So for me, it's just knowing my role. They weren't looking at me because I got drafted where I got drafted to come here and be a leader. We got great veterans around. And like I said, even Marcus, for him be able to go out there and take me under his wing, help mold me to be prepared, stuff like that, giving me pointers at plays, or we might see this look, you might have to do this and stuff like that. So we got great veterans around.
So you get named starting quarterback. Who was the first call, FaceTime, text message? Who'd you hit up right away?
Really nobody. I had meetings, so I couldn't do all that. But I'm pretty sure my phone is blowing up right now.
Jayden, good afternoon and congratulations to you.
Appreciate it.
Dan Quinn said that you were an amazing teammate. That's a paraphrase, not a direct quote, but high praise for you as a teammate so far in your rookie season. How much does it mean that what you're trying to do as a group is being noticed?
It means a lot. I want to be remembered for the person I am, not just what I did on the football field. So be able to be good and kind to my teammates, show them that I care for them and I'm always here for them. It means a lot.
And then clearly, there's also talk about Mike Sanders still being a very mature presence on the team, Luke McCaffrey and his professionalism, and kind of the conversations go on. How much does it mean for you guys as the younger group of Commanders to come in here to have that presence to help build the team forward?
Yeah, we want to come in here. We just want to put our head down and go to work. We got to earn our role. We got to earn everything that comes. Nothing's going to be given to us just because we got drafted. There's guys that's been proven in this league, like I said before. And, for us, it's like we're going to take that approach. Our whole class, man, we just go out there. We're going to work. We don't really have too much to say. We're just going to show it on the field.
Hey there, Jayden, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Can you share a bit of about what you're building with offensive coordinator Coach Cliff Kingsbury?
Kind of just a sample size of how he's calling plays throughout these preseason games. We want to get the ball in our playmakers' hands as fast as possible. Take the shots when it's there, and be very good in the run game. We want to be physical up front. I feel like that's what we're showing. It's just a little sample size, and we got to keep building on from that.
Hey, Jayden, the NFL is obviously such a demanding league, but at the same time, this is something you've waited for your entire life. So are you planning on taking the moment to really appreciate the significance of this, or is it more just like a let's get back to work thing?
You got to enjoy every moment possible because you never know when it could be your last. So you got to enjoy every moment. And then later on, tomorrow we'll be back to work. We got to get back to work. We got to focus on this last preseason game and go from there.
Did you pretend to act surprised when he told you?
If I didn't pretend, like I said, nothing's given in this world. So Marcus is a great vet for me, and for not even for me, but for Sam Hartman also. Man, he looks out for us. Everybody in that room looks out for each other. So, when they told me, I was really surprised. I didn't know what I was getting talked to about. I thought he was going to talk to me about my routine from this past game again. So it was a surprise to me.
Is there any part of you where it is a relief just to get that out of the way and move on, just to, everybody knows? I mean, not that there was much doubt before, but just to hear it publicly, is that any sort of relief for you?
I mean, not really. It's like more excitement and joy. It wasn't like a relief, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna still take the same approach every day to get better, and that's what we preach, especially in the quarterback room. We got to get better each and every day.
I hate to harp on the sliding thing, but I'm just curious, like mechanically, do you actually practice sliding? Or have you ever practiced sliding?
Nah, I haven't.
And I wonder, what is like the biggest or most important lesson that like Marcus has shared with you throughout this time? Like, what do you find you taking from him?
Me and Marcus kind of got a similar story. I mean, we're blessed enough to win the Heisman, blessed enough to get drafted at the same spot. And, coming in early, I know that he had a lot of expectations on him, especially coming out as a rookie and get drafted that high. And he kind of felt like he had to wear the cape, stuff like that. So he's just giving me his experience through this time through the league, his knowledge, and he's been instrumental in my development so far here. Without him, I wouldn't be in this position right now. So, I mean, I appreciate Marcus always.
Take 3 more. Obviously, being quarterback at LSU is a really big deal. Winning a Heisman Trophy is a really big deal, but this level just gets magnified that much more. You talked about your phone blowing up. In the last 48 hours or whatever, like Chad Ochocinco, Good Morning Football, they're all doing segments about you. Like, do you notice any of that? Have you allowed yourself to enjoy it a little bit?
I ain't really seen none of that. So, as a first of me hearing that. But I mean, it's social media. You see some stuff, you don't see things. I don't go looking for stuff, man. So, for me, it's like, people could talk about me as much as they want, good and bad. All that matters is what's going on in that building, how I come every day to work, how my teammates view me, how my coaches view me, the people around. And how can we get better each and every day as a team?
And then Dan Quinn said something interesting about, like, players don't want to be BS'd. Do you feel that it was important for you to not be named starter and to prove that you're going to work just as hard, you're here to compete over these last few months?
100%. For me, it's like what DQ and them said early on, man, they got a plan. And, they didn't want to go out there and, oh, hey, you're the starter. I didn't come here. I haven't earned anything. What I did in college was great. Now it's time for a new slate, clean slate. So coming in, I got to prove not only to myself, not only to the coaches, but to my teammates, earn the respect of those guys, because some of those guys were drafted in the same position as me. They had to work for everything they had. For me to come in there, and if DQ and them are gonna preach competition, and you got to earn everything, man. They can't come in and just give me the job right away, so I got to go earn it.
We've only seen you in the offense for a few series in the preseason. What can we expect from the offense this year, and how surprised might we be about what you guys do when we enter Week 1?
Man, I think we have the pieces. To go out there and be a solid offense. I can't say what to expect because it's different from game to game and teams and schemes, stuff like that. So, I mean, you could expect just energy and effort from the guys going out there flying around, and we want to make plays, and that's what I feel like the guys can do.
Thanks, Jayden.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats.